Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Like, gosh, we see people here from all over the globe joining us today. I'm J. Michael Smith in downtown Tyler, Texas. Welcome to Mentor Monday, and today is Motivational Monday. Real quickly, guys, as you know, just a quick reminder on certain things. We're still in pre-registration for the convention in April of next year. Great tickets are still reasonably priced right now. So make sure you're getting your tickets to the convention and getting organized for that. Don't forget also that until through December 31st, the end of the year, it's free sign up for life membership with the purchase of anything, with product, with anything you purchase comes with a free membership. So that has been a great incentive for a lot of us to share as we're sharing my shop and sharing products. I went and changed my setting on my setting so that now that they can sign up anytime they're buying anything from me. So anything, Dave, you may fill me in on. I know you've got a lot of things happening with your teams and all over the world, but welcome to my great friend and mentor, Mr. Dave Daughtrey, who I met, what was that, 2016, almost over a decade ago. So
Michael, let's go ahead real quick and change a couple of the settings here. That way, as people come in, they're muted. And there we go. So, J. Michael, thank you again for that introduction. And yeah, it's been great. It's always fun to go out and visit you and Judy. We've done a couple of times out there in Tyler, Texas. And we're blessed to have you as part of our organization, as well as everybody that's here this morning. And if you're coming in on Facebook Live as we're streaming, thank you for joining us. Recognition is a real important part of what we do. People, in their daily lives, they're out working hard, and most people have jobs. They get up in the morning and they go to work, and they honestly don't get recognized a whole lot, for what they do, the service that they provide. And that's one of the things I love about what we do, is because recognition is extremely important, because you cannot succeed in this type of work. And this is what I love about it. You can't succeed alone if your intention is to establish some sort of financial independence and have residual income. You see, you can sell product and you can have customers, and I have customers. I love my customers. And as they come back and buy product, I guess we would consider that residual income because they're buying product and a commission is earned. But if you're talking about real financial independence, where you're earning, a substantial amount of income, and I think everybody has their own definition of that for me, and I'll just share with you my original goal, when I got into this business back in end of 81, as I was listening to some of my mentors, my goal was to earn a six-figure monthly income, not yearly. People always talk about a six-figure, even today, 6 figures a year is pretty good. What about 6 figures a month? Well, the only way to do that, and by the way, I accomplished that in 2006, so I'll recognize myself for that. But 2006, I achieved that goal. It took me a while, and the reason it took me a while was because I didn't have the right partnership. I didn't have the right company, the right products, the right people. And after 18 years of trying with 3 different companies, it didn't happen. And I did my part, but the companies that I represented before For Life did not do theirs until For Life. Now it's been over 27 years. October 20th of this year marked my 27-year anniversary. So I'm in year 28 now. And so I hit that goal in 2006. But if that is your goal, to achieve that, you cannot do it alone. You cannot achieve that level of success by yourself. So you have to bring people with you as you climb the mountain of success. And what I love about this business is we climb this mountain of success together, and some days it can seem pretty steep. Some days it may seem like a cliff you're trying to climb. It's okay. Once you see people doing it, it can be done. And if you're curious at all, you can always go to forlife.com. In fact, we probably will do that today, and look at a few of the people around the world that have been climbing this mountain of success and they've gotten themselves to builder and diamond and presidential diamond and bronze and silver, gold and platinum and all the elites in between, because every rank has an elite as well. But they didn't do it alone. In fact, you can't even be a builder elite, that's sponsoring 3 people. So you have to have at least 3 people on your team to achieve that. So Rec signed up and they've done this, and we applaud each other. We celebrate each other's successes. And that's what makes this business so wonderful. And it's a big part of the business. And I'll say this about For Life, by the way. Recognition is extremely important. And For Life, they really go to great lengths to have these recognitions. Everything from great escape trips. You're recognized for your success by going on a trip for 2 people all over the world. You have great escapes. Each region has their own great escape. Like I know that, for example, India, theirs is going to be in Croatia. That's their next trip, is going to Croatia. And so, we do, that's another way we recognize, all right? Then a convention. If you want to see a lot of recognition, you go to a For Life convention. And that's, for me, that's the fun part, is taking pictures of people going across the stage, being recognized, getting their trophies. They travel from all over the world, to come to that and to be recognized. So it's a wonderful thing. We want to thank you for being part of our For Life family. I spend my morning when I get up, I take a walk with my dog Odin, and I get a lot of time to reflect and I think. And I just have to say, how grateful I am and how I feel to have been to be involved and have been involved with the company for the past 27 plus years. I see a lot of people that are trying to find their way, when it comes to just their place in life today. We live in a bit of a confused time right now. There's just a lot of noise, a lot of distraction, and it comes from the internet. There's just so much going on, and everyone's just trying to find their way. And it's just part of life that in order for us to be providers for our family, those of us we work hard, we have kids and so forth, and eventually grandkids and whatnot. You want to be a good provider, and it takes money. In order to be able to provide, you have to have money. And this is an opportunity to help people move from what I consider a life of survival. And let's face it, the majority of people out there are living a life of survival. In fact, we've been going through a government shutdown here in the US, and I just feel blessed. When we went through the Obama, I don't like shutdowns, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that when we went through the Obama financial crisis, the housing crisis in 2008, my income, I know I'm bragging a little bit here, but it was well over 6 figures a month. It kept going up during that crisis. During this crisis of a federal shutdown, my income's gone up. And it's simply because of the choices that I made to be part of an industry, part of something where we're not dependent upon all this stuff that goes on, in the real world. All right. And I'll also say this, I want to encourage all of you, build a global business. For Life is a global company. And as I was saying, I walk every morning, I start thinking about how grateful I am. And some of these things just fell into place because the decisions that I made, in business, I didn't know what would happen to For Life when I began. I started it with faith, but I had a vision, and it turns out that my vision was pretty much the same vision as David Lisenby. Was being a global company, taking our products, Transfer Factor and For Life Science around the world, but you don't want to be dependent on one economy. So build a global business, follow the leader. And what I mean by follow the leader, Vikas made a comment to me that he knows people in the US. His younger sister is a doctor here in the United States in Chicago. And I'm saying to him, hey, great. While you're asleep at night, because he's in India, I'll be working your people over here in the US, during the daytime. So hopefully, you wake up in the morning and you've got new distributors, new affiliates, new diamonds, and people that break rank because of our team effort working together. And that's what makes this business so great. So don't depend on one economy, build a global business, follow the leader, ask your people all the time. Do you know anybody that lives in another country? Do you know anybody that, let's say you're focusing on a particular country, United States, this is a gold mine we live in right here in the US. So ask your people, communicate with your people, but more than anything, continue to inspire and influence. It's about leadership and recognize. We celebrate everyone's successes. So again, follow the leader. It may take you don't know. Honestly, I just never knew that my business would end up in Kenya. It ended up in Kenya because of somebody from Ecuador that knew someone in Uganda, that knew someone in Kenya. And that's kind of how follow the leader. Jillian's a good example. She lives on a little island in the Caribbean Ocean. Met Jillian through Claudia. I met Claudia through her sister. Met her sister through the neighbor of her sister, Laura Rodriguez. Met Laura through somebody in Ecuador. And that's how this works. That's called networking. All right. So my goal, and I hope it's the same as your goal, is to teach, inspire, motivate, support, recognize everybody, and help them become the best networker they can be. That's what this is. It's called network marketing. Some people, oppose network marketing. That's fine, and to each their own. I think, in fact, I was talking to somebody over the weekend and I said, you know what? There's a lot of ignorance out there. People really don't understand it. All right. Because what a wonderful thing when you can be successful by helping other people be successful. But as a networker, I'll just say this, the definition of being a networker is somebody who has the ability or develops the ability, the skill to communicate with someone that you don't even know through someone you do know. It's kind of like being at a party where somebody says, hey, Mary, come over here. I want to introduce you to Joe. Joe just moved into town and he's here, blah, blah, blah. And you meet Joe. Somebody just introduced someone that they know to someone that that person doesn't know. And that's what networking is. And it's a simple concept, a simple process. Some people have to overcome fear maybe because they're afraid of rejection or whatever. We all go through. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, but that's what's great about doing this. That's what's great about the teamwork is that you're going to get recognized as you develop, as you overcome obstacles, as you overcome whatever fear you may have. All right. So it's about developing those strengths, keep developing the strengths, but whatever weaknesses you might recognize in yourself, whatever they are, as a team, we're here to help you learn and overcome any of those so you become the best networker you can be. But to me, a lot of this was common sense. As a young 21-year-old, when I went to a meeting and I saw some people stand up front and yeah, maybe they were a little bit of showmen, going up there and they were marketing a product, they were marketing a concept. And I looked at them and I thought to myself, if those guys are making the kind of money they're talking about, and I'm over here struggling, making a minimum wage, all right, struggling just to get by, living a life of survival rather than a life of contribution, well, why don't I listen to them? And one of them made a comment and he said, where in the world are you going to be able to find a place where you can learn from, you can associate with, rub shoulders with people that are successful and it costs you zero other than showing up, taking what they teach you, applying it to your business, and by you achieving success, they achieve success. And these guys were millionaires. Again, this business is about helping other people succeed. You cannot become even a builder without taking 3 people with you. You can't become a diamond without taking at least 6 people with you. You can't become a presidential diamond without taking 8 people with you and having 2 diamonds on your team, which means either A, you helped build those diamonds, or B, they kind of just did it on their own and you're beneficiary of that good fortune. And that happens. I call it the element of mystery in a way, because you could sponsor someone who sponsors someone who sponsors someone. Maybe you don't even know who they are. It's like when I showed you right now. In fact, let me go back here and share my screen again real quick. When I was showing this earlier, I showed 294. This is only within 10 levels. And I honestly have to say, I don't even know the majority of these people. I put it in alphabetical order as I'm going through here, but I look at, there's Binod Singh, that's under Vikas. I know that because there's right here, Vikas Dubé is a sponsor. But I go through here and I look, there's Brandon. Brandon's out in the Philippines, and so some of these I know, but a lot of these names, there's Chris, I don't even know. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody had that kind of business where you look at your downline, you go, oh my gosh, I got 20 new Fast Start participants, and half of them I don't even know who they are. That's the power of this business. That's the power of duplication. That's the power of networking. And that's why I love this business. To me, it's the most wonderful business in the world. Unless you're so antisocial, that you just like to hibernate in your room, and maybe you're a computer programmer and that's all you want to do. That's fine, to each their own. But if you're interested in building a global network, if you're interested in helping people with health, wellness, financial independence, all these wonderful, noble things, this is the place to do it. Development. I say this all the time. God put us on this planet for various reasons. But one of the most important reasons is to develop. The only way you can develop anything is by working it. And in most cases, that involves resistance. For example, if you want to develop your body, you're going to have some resistance. It could be working out at the gym, do resistance. In fact, they call it resistance training. You want to develop your ability, your skills to be a good entrepreneur, there's going to be resistance. That's the only way we can develop. Without resistance, you wouldn't develop at all. So embrace the challenges, embrace them. And do you guys think, when you look at these people, in fact, I said I was going to do this, so let's do it now. I'm just going to go through here real quick and share with you all the For Life page here. I'm going to go over to real fast about For Life, and I'm going to go to success. I assume y'all can see my screen. Go down to the recognition section right here, as you can see. When you look at these people, let's pick golds, all right? When you take a look at these golds, okay? In fact, here's our father right here, Dr. Rob Robertson, all right? So Rob Robertson's retired now, and rightfully so. I don't know how old he is, but if I had to guess, I'd probably say that he's probably close to 90, if not in his 90s. And it was Dr. Robertson that needs to be recognized, and he generally is recognized, for the individual who was competing against David Lisenby to get the transfer factor patent. David Lisenby won. Dr. Robertson decided, well, I couldn't beat him, so I'm going to join him. And so we're all in Dr. Robertson's downline. So, and as I look around here, I see these people, these are golds. And I'll brag, more than 90% of these are in my organization. And it makes me proud. I look at these people. Carlos Rocha, great story. A massage therapist from Colombia, never been in network marketing, joins For Life, works hard, moves to Spain, became a gold international diamond in Spain, got smart about not wanting to pay so much taxes in Spain. What did he do? He moved to the neighboring country, Andorra. In Andorra, there's very little taxes that are paid. It's a smart business move. When you're making, what, I don't know, if I had to guess, I'd probably say 60, 80, maybe $100,000 a month. Might as well save some money and pay less taxes. So he's in Andorra now. I look at Manny Ko from the Philippines. There's a gentleman again, never been in network marketing, and learned from For Life, worked his way up to gold. So my question to all of you is this. Do you think that these people didn't have any resistance or challenges on their way to Gold International Diamond? I know they did because I watched their journey, pretty much from the very beginning when they joined. In fact, let's go to Johnny Aguilar right here. This is Johnny. Let me open him up. Johnny Aguilar. You talk about challenges and resistance. You know where Johnny's from? Venezuela. Venezuela was thriving, before the whole, takeover, the socialist takeover. And Johnny became a gold in Venezuela. Well, Johnny had to leave Venezuela. His whole organization basically crumbled in Venezuela. He had to rebuild pretty much from scratch. He could have quit. He could have, here's a guy that was a gold, and he went from gold and dropped down, I believe, to presidential diamond. That's going from 250,000 life points down to 10,000 and starting all over again. I just talked to Johnny last week. He's in Colombia. He moved to Colombia. That's where he's living now. Guess what? He's back up to 250 plus thousand life points. He rebuilt all over again. That is, you talk about having a challenge and not throwing in the towel and starting basically all over and rebuilding. Here's the beauty about that. I say this all the time, you guys. Skills, skills, skills. You develop your skills, especially when there's challenges and resistance and so forth. You figure things out, but we do it by learning from each other. We do it by, and recognition's a huge part, but we learn from each other, and that's how we grow and we develop. And, I look at Johnny, and he's overcome some incredible challenges, to get his way back. He's just requalifying again as a gold. In fact, it may even happen this month. He's got the volume. He just needs a little bit of structure that he's working on right now, and he'll be back to Gold International Diamond. And if you go and look, by the way, I can show you right here. If you look at the income disclosure, if you're curious and say, well, how much does a gold make? This is the income disclosure right here from For Life. Let me make it a little bit bigger so y'all can see it. Gold International Diamonds, you're talking in the ballpark of about 45, 46,000 US dollars a month. So when you look at these people, that have worked their way up, these are golds I'm showing here. Here's some that are not even part of my downline. Dana Lombardi, Angela Christ. It's kind of fun. I always see them on the trips, and we're good friends. But as I go through here, I feel extremely blessed and grateful. But I've seen, here's the gentleman, by the way, just so y'all know, right here. This person's going to be speaking on our Medical Mentor Monday. Is it the 17th, Jillian?
Yes, this Monday. Next Monday's Mentor Monday call.
So here's a medical doctor right here, Dr. Jose, we call him Angel Sanchez. You look at this guy. You know how old this guy is? He's going to be 77 years old. He's an anti-aging specialist, medical doctor. So he'll be talking on our Medical Mentor Monday. But these people come from all walks of life. Here's a gentleman right here, Ronnie Marrero, carpenter, a carpenter. Never ever did network marketing in his life. He was introduced to network marketing because he was working on someone's house as a carpenter, and that individual said, hey, would you like to learn how to, rather than using it's a great skill being a carpenter, but it's a lot of work. How'd you like to learn to build a business? And he said, sure, teach me. Well, here's Ronnie Marrero and his wife, Eva Lise. By the way, Ron is a bodybuilder too, incredible bodybuilder. So, but yeah, they were just on the trip with us when we went on the cruise. Never did network marketing before. As a carpenter, here he is, a Gold International Diamond. Like I said, I've got I know these people just because I've worked with them. Oh, here's Lourdes right here. Another one. I look at Lourdes. She's got an organization around the world, Panama. All of Panama, I think, is in her downline just about. But she's from Puerto Rico. Lourdes, being a single mother, has gone out and been able to build a wonderful business, get herself to Gold International Diamond, has a great organization. So I love these stories. And so I can go on and on. Let's just jump to page 4. and recognize a lot of these people. I look forward to seeing all of you. Oh, here's the youngest gold right here. Gabby and I were just with Kai Shin recently when we did our trip to Malaysia. Actually, no, I was there. Gabby didn't go with me on the last trip. I was there in Malaysia back in June when I went to India. Youngest gold in For Life, Kai Shin. Gentlemen, again, never did network marketing. Now, why do I bring up they never did network marketing? Here's why I'm saying this. A lot of people, and I was thinking about this today when I was walking, a lot of people, let me stop sharing the screen. When it comes to network marketing, there are those people, excuse me, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but people that come from network marketing, but they don't really understand network marketing. I call them more opportunists. In other words, when it's really hot and things are going great, that happens a lot of companies, they get started and they start to grow. And while the wave is there, they'll ride the wave. Every wave comes to an end. Every wave eventually reaches the sand and it crashes. You have to make a new wave. That's how you create longevity. That's how you can have something that will last, not just the rest of your life, but for the life of your family, your prosperity, your kids, grandkids, and so on. The only way that happens is when you have wave makers, not just wave riders. And in For Life, I'll say this. I'm proud to say we've got a lot of wave makers. They know how to go out and make new waves. And that includes all of you. And that's what we're doing right now, by the way. For Life's a 27-year-old company. I'm not going to lie and say we're in our first wave. We're not in our first wave. We just create wave after wave after wave. So it doesn't matter what wave you come in. Understand something. You ever been to the beach? Jillian, have you been to the beach? She's surrounded by
Of
beach.
course.
So I know she has.
I
Let me
live on
say
the
this.
beach.
I love analogies. I love analogies. Think about this. When you go to the beach, is every wave the same? Or are some waves smaller and some waves bigger? I've been to the beach where there's hardly any waves. And I've been to the beach where the waves are massive. So it's not always the first wave is the biggest. You might go to the beach and the first wave you see is the smallest. And all of a sudden, 10 waves later is a bigger wave. That's how this business is, you guys. All right. I know today we're talking about recognition, but I wanted to leave you with a message. I have and excuse me, because the way I say this, I don't want it to sound negative, but I have a better view than most of you because I have a huge organization around the world. I can see what's going on all over. I can sense now this new wave that's happening. You guys, 62 new diamonds in India last month. So, I told Vikas when I learned that we're going to have this call, I said, Vikas, your market, the India market, I kind of, again, I'm big on analogies. I look at it like the water is starting to bubble now. And, it's going to get to that boiling point pretty soon where you're just going to have this tremendous momentum in that particular market. And that's how this business works. That's why I said, you make sure that your business goes global. The only way to go global is if you keep telling your people, everybody knows somebody internationally. Everybody does. Say, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? You want your business to be a global business. That's the world we live in today. We live in a world of globalization. We live in a world of communication, information. It's easily recognizable. I'll say this and we'll finish. I'm a big fan of Grok. I know there's Chat GPT and all that. And maybe, Jill, you can do this with Chat GPT. But I was in my garage over the weekend doing my probably, twice a year, I go through and do this like spring cleaning thing. And my garage floor, I don't know what you call it. It's one of those polyurethane where you can almost eat off the garage floor, honestly. But it's very nice looking. They put these chips on it. A couple of areas where just over the years, maybe through the cars pulling in and whatnot, where a couple of the chips have come up and you can see the concrete underneath. I took Grok and I put the camera on and I said, Grok, look at this and tell me how to fix it. And I just showed the camera. And Grok started telling me exactly what it was, how to fix it. You guys, we live in an amazing world today where information is so readily available. So if you're, hopefully a fan of AI, talk to AI and tell it, even if you have a challenge you're overcoming and you're saying, you know what, hey, Chat GPT, hey, Grok, I've got this challenge. Can you help me overcome it? What do I need to do? It'll tell you. It's pretty cool. So anyhow, I want to finish up. I want to say thank you, everyone. I didn't see any other hands go up. So Jillian, I'll pass it back to you and we'll
Okay.
finish up here.
No worries. So thank you, everybody. I just also, I forgot, I apologize, Rita. I know she had to leave early because she's going to Germany, global events. So, and hopefully eventually Vicus will have Indian events, right? So on there too. So we're growing, so keep going, as Dave says. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at all these external events that we do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. As Jillian
Thanks,
said, keep
everyone.
going, keep growing.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Love you guys.
See ya.
Love you too.
Have a great week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.